This is about decision making, where you'll have somebody going in this direction, where this person behind me just turned around. You have somebody going in this direction, everybody going in this direction too, and then of course the buses in front of you crisscrossing at the same time, where if I'm indecisive, they don't know what stores to pull, like say all the Wi-Fi headphones from. It's all based on what I'm going to buy at any given store. If it's food, they replace it with food that's very likely potentially poisoned. It's very, very discriminatory, very persecution-based society. They're notoriously racist, where the supremacist type of ideology that they put towards me, where I'm heavily persecuted. I literally can't shop anywhere. They pull everything from the shelves before I can arrive. Like there's a Target down here. I can't shop there because anything that I'm going to buy is pulled before I get there, or marked up so high you can't even purchase it, where I've recorded videos of it before. This is all decision-based type of activity, where I pretty much have nowhere to go, because anywhere that I think of, like that I may shop at or eat at, they go there before I even can get there, by doing things like having all the buses come by before I just as I'm making a decision, so I can't get there in time for them not to pull the things from the shelves or poison the food. They're very racist. It's not just me. They're also very, very, very discriminatory towards African Americans in particular, where we've had segregation-like issues. They make very frequent anti-Semitic remarks as well, along with like anti-Catholic type of remarks with reference, disgusting references to things I don't even want to discuss. But very anti-Catholic, anti-African American, and anti-Semitic type of movement. And there's a very, very, very strong emphasis on discriminating against me or any one person in particular. There's an enormous concentration on that. You can see the non-cooperation against, by other members of the community. They're not afraid to stand up for themselves, but, we're civilians, and they like to bully civilians, like the Japanese or, say, the Koreans. They like to concentrate heavily on bullying civilians to death. Even provocation to suicide is a very, very, very real thing. They're very heavily concentrated on that motivation and that intention. I've said it before, and I say it again, is before the war, their provocation to suicide was entirely concentrated on 13 to 17-year-old girls. 90% of them were 13 to 17-year-old girls. I was seeing 10 suicides a day traced through newspapers, through Google News search. They were using social networking technology like MySpace, for example, text messaging and such, where the reason that they were concentrated on those whom were not a member of this pedophile society of enormous amounts of population is because females have babies. They would be in their 30s. They'd be 30-something years old now. So the reason that 90% of the targets for females between 13 and 17 is because they have children. And again, though, the community needs help. Say African American community needs help. Say my family may need help in regards to we're civilians, and say the military doesn't seem to understand the difference, the distinction between civilian and military, and say the CIA is playing a leading role as a mercenary culture, where they seem to say boast of being seen only as civilians, when we can see them only as military and only ever as military. When they boast as children that they were raised to be in the military, even though most of them never served in it. Mercenary society is the majority that persecutes, and they say are viewed as a military entity, not a mercenary entity, or not a civilian entity. Where we can't defend ourselves, we're civilians, we do our best, but we're pragmatic, practical people who understand the threat that poses us when the first world military tries to attack civilians, and does consistently, while the majority, and which is Caucasian, of the population boasts of immunity and likes to belittle us and mock us because of the protections that they have from persecution and discrimination, in which we do not have. And they boast of that protection from persecution, discrimination, in regard through pedophilia, that they practice pedophilia, and that they believe in the notion of killing people makes it illegal for you to be killed, where obviously we know killing people makes it legal to kill you. Or they say, if you kill people, it won't be legal to kill you anymore. They plot against people who don't speak in code. It's the majority of the population. A lot of them are in Canada, but they're still here too.